The silent watcher's Captain Marcus Kane stood on the bridge of the research vessel Horizon's Edge, staring at the massive alien structure floating in the void. The geometric patterns carved into its surface seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. For 3 months, his crew had been studying this ancient monument, trying to understand its purpose. Still no response from the artifact, Captain, reported Lieutenant Emma Rodriguez from her station. Her fingers danced across holographic displays, analyzing energy readings that made no sense according to human science. The discovery had been accidental. Dr. Vincent Shaw, their xenoarchaeologist, had detected unusual quantum signatures while mapping unexplored systems beyond the Kepler belt. What they found defied explanation: a structure older than human civilization, waiting in the darkness like a sleeping giant. "The patterns are changing again," whispered Shaw, his weathered face illuminated by the artifact's strange glow. "It's almost like it's trying to communicate." Suddenly, the ship's communication array erupted with activity. Warning signals flooded their systems as massive ships materialized from hyperspace. These weren't human vessels, they were something else entirely. Sleek, predatory craft with organic curves that seemed to bend light around them. "Captain, we're being hailed," announced Communications Officer Tyler Brooks, his voice tight with tension. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a creature that defied human understanding. Multiple eyes arranged in perfect symmetry, skin that shifted colors like liquid metal, and a presence that radiated ancient authority. "Primitive species," the alien spoke, its voice carrying harmonics that made the crew's bones vibrate. "You have awakened something that should have remained dormant. We are the Vexthari, guardians of this sector. You will surrender your vessel and submit to questioning." Marcus felt his crew's fear, but something deeper stirred within him. Humanity had clawed its way from caves to stars through sheer determination. They had survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and the vast loneliness of space. They would not bow now. "This is human space," Marcus replied calmly, though his heart hammered against his ribs. "We claim salvage rights on this artifact." The aliens, multiple eyes focused on him with predatory intensity. "Humans, we have observed your species' expansion. Violent, chaotic, destructive. You have no understanding of what you have found." Behind the Vexthari ship, more vessels appeared, dozens of them, forming a perfect blockade around the human research vessel, their weapons charged with energy that made space itself ripple. "You will come with us," the alien commanded. "Your ship will be destroyed. This is not negotiable." Marcus looked at his crew-12 brave souls who had followed him into the unknown. Emma's hands were steady on her controls. Shaw's eyes burned with scientific curiosity despite the danger. Brooks maintained his position, ready to transmit their final message to Earth. The alien artifact pulsed once more, and for a brief moment, Marcus thought he heard something. A whisper, a promise, a warning. "No," he said simply. The word hung in space, between species, between civilizations, between the known and unknown. It was humanity's first word to the greater galaxy, and it would not be forgotten. The first shot heard across stars, Vexthari commander's colors shifted to deep crimson. Clearly a sign of anger. "You refuse our directive. One small ship against our fleet." Marcus Kane stepped forward, his uniform bearing the simple insignia of Earth's Deep Space Research Division. No military decorations, no battle ribbons, just a symbol of humanity's endless curiosity. "We refuse to abandon our mission or surrender our freedom." Dr. Shaw's instruments detected massive energy buildups across the alien fleet. "Captain, they're charging weapons. Multiple targeting locks on our position." The research vessel Horizon's Edge was not a warship. It carried no weapons beyond basic defensive systems, no armor beyond standard hull plating. Its crew were scientists, not soldiers. By every logical calculation, they should have surrendered. But logic had never been humanity's strongest suit. "Emma, can you get us to the artifact?" Marcus asked. Lieutenant Rodriguez's fingers flew across her console. "The gravitational fields around it are unstable, but I can try." "Why?" "Because whatever that thing is, the Vexthari don't want us near it. That tells me we need to get closer." The alien commander's image flickered with interference. "Final warning, humans, stand down, or face annihilation, Marcus touched the communication panel. He thought of Earth, billions of miles away, of children playing in parks, of scientists working in laboratories, of explorers dreaming of distant stars, of a species that had never learned when to quit. To all ships, this is Captain Kane of the Terran vessel Horizon's Edge. We are human beings, and we do not kneel. The first Vexthari weapon fired a beam of pure energy that could have vaporized a small moon. But the ancient artifact suddenly flared with blinding light, creating a protective barrier around the human ship. The alien attack scattered harmlessly against the energy field. Impossible, gasped the Vexthari commander. The Guardian system activated for primitives. Shaw's instruments went wild. Captain, the artifact is transmitting directly to our computers. It's downloading something massive: data files, star charts, technological blueprints. This is incredible. The alien fleet opened fire in unison, hundreds of energy beams converging on their position. But the artifact's shield held, growing brighter with each impact. More importantly, it was changing the Horizon's Edge itself. Hull plating shifted and strengthened. New systems came online. Weapons that human science had never imagined suddenly existed. "What's happening to us?" whispered Brooks. Shaw's voice carried awe and terror in equal measure. "It's not just protecting us, it's upgrading us. The artifact isn't just a monument, it's a test. A challenge left by whoever built it. And we passed." The Vexthari commander's colors shifted to something Marcus had never seen: pale, almost transparent. "Fear. You have awakened the predecessor's legacy. This changes everything." Marcus felt the ship's new power flowing through its systems. Weapons that could crack planets, shields that bent reality, engines that could fold space itself. But with that power came knowledge, terrible, wonderful knowledge of what lay beyond the stars. "You were supposed to be our prey," the alien whispered. "A young species to be guided or eliminated. We were never prey," Marcus replied, his voice carrying new authority. "We are human. We are the species that turned prey into predators, that conquered our own world before reaching for others." The artifact pulsed one final time, then went dark, but its gift remained. The Horizon's Edge had become something more than human yet, essentially human in every way that mattered. War was coming to the galaxy, and humanity would meet it on their own terms. The awakening proto-news of the Horizon's Edge incident spread through human space like wildfire. Captain Kane's transmission had been received by deep space monitoring stations, and within hours, every human colony knew what had happened at the edge of explored space. Admiral Patricia Voss stood in the command center of Luna Base, Earth's primary military installation, watching the recordings for the 10th time. The transformation of the research vessel defied everything humanity understood about physics and engineering. "Analysis, Colonel?" she asked her chief science officer. Colonel David Chen pulled up holographic displays showing the ship's metamorphosis. The vessel's mass increased by 400%, but its engine efficiency improved by 2,000%. New weapon systems appeared that operate on principles we don't understand, and the crew, their brain activity shows enhanced neural pathways. The implications were staggering. Humanity had made first contact, been threatened with extinction, and somehow emerged with technology beyond their wildest dreams. But Admiral Voss had spent 30 years in military service, and she knew gifts always came with prices. "What do we know about these Vexthari?" she asked. "Intelligence suggests they control several hundred star systems. Their technology is advanced, but not overwhelmingly so compared to what we gained from the artifact. The concerning part is, what Captain Kane mentioned they called us a young species to be guided or eliminated." Voss nodded grimly. "We're not the first. Across human space, a transformation was beginning. The artifact's gift hadn't just changed one ship, it had transmitted blueprints, star charts, and scientific principles to every human computer system in contact with deep space networks. Engineers worked frantically to understand technologies that seemed to rewrite fundamental laws. On Mars colony, Dr. Rebecca Foster led teams analyzing new metallurgy techniques that could create materials stronger than neutron star matter. On Europa Station, researchers studied engine designs that folded spacetime like origami. On distant mining platforms, workers discovered that common asteroids could be converted into exotic matter with simple modifications, but the most important discovery came from Dr. Shaw himself, now aboard a fast courier ship racing back to Earth. His analysis of the artifact's data revealed its true purpose. "It's a graduation test," he explained in his recorded message. "The predecessors, whoever they were, left these throughout the galaxy. When a species reaches sufficient technological and cultural development, the artifacts activate. They either elevate the species to galactic status or," he paused, consulting his notes, "or they determine the species isn't ready and must be culled." The recordings showed Shaw's weathered face, filled with both wonder and dread. The Vexthari aren't conquerors in the traditional sense. They're gardeners. They tend the galaxy, pruning species that fail the test. Humanity passed, but barely, and that terrifies them. Admiral Voss felt the weight of command settling on her shoulders. Every human military installation was receiving identical orders: prepare for war, but not the kind humanity had ever fought before. This wouldn't be about resources or territory. It would be about the right to exist as an independent species. The first Vexthari probe ships arrived at the edge of human space 3 days later. They didn't attack immediately. Instead, they observed, studied, calculated. Their reports traveled faster than light back to their command fleets, carrying news that would reshape galactic politics. Meanwhile, human shipyards worked around the clock. The technology from the artifact allowed rapid construction of vessels that seemed more grown than built. Ships with living hulls that could adapt to damage, weapons that learned from each battle, and crews whose enhanced minds could process tactical information at superhuman speeds. Captain Kane's Horizon's Edge had become the prototype for humanity's new fleet, but more importantly, it had become a symbol. The first human ship to tell the galaxy that Earth's children would not go quietly into extinction. The Vexthari had spent millennia believing they understood the patterns of galactic civilization. Young species either submitted to guidance or were eliminated for the greater good. It was natural law, as predictable as stellar formation. They had never encountered a species that rewrote natural law through sheer stubbornness. War was coming, and both sides were preparing for a conflict that would determine humanity's place among the stars. The galactic storm 3 weeks after first contact. The Vexthari war fleet arrived at the outer boundary of human space, 200 vessels strong, commanded by Fleet Sovereign Kithara, a being whose reputation for ending young civilizations had earned her the title the final judge. Admiral Voss stood on the bridge of humanity's new flagship, the Defiant Dawn, watching the alien formation take position near Pluto's orbit. The ship around her hummed with power that still amazed her hull plating, that could regenerate from near-total destruction, weapons that fired controlled singularities, and shields that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "Status report," she ordered. 37 human vessels in position, Admiral, reported Captain Lisa Park, her tactical officer. "All ships equipped with predecessor technology. Crew enhancement protocols are at 94% efficiency." The numbers were deceiving. Humanity's fleet was outnumbered 5-1, but their ships represented a fusion of human ingenuity and ancient alien science that defied conventional tactical analysis. More importantly, their crews had undergone the artifact's neural enhancement, allowing them to think and react at superhuman speeds. Fleet Sovereign Kithra's image appeared on the main screen, her shifting colors now displaying the deep purples of formal judgment. "I am Kithara of the Vexthari Dominion. Humanity has been evaluated and found problematic." Admiral Voss stepped forward, her uniform bearing the new insignia of the Terran Defense Coalition, a blue marble surrounded by stars, symbolizing Earth's place in the galaxy. "This is Admiral Patricia Voss, representing the sovereign human species. State your intentions." "The predecessor's test was not meant for species like yours," Kithara replied, her multiple eyes focusing with predatory intensity. "Your people show dangerous unpredictability. The galaxy requires order, stability, proper guidance. You will be relocated to reservation worlds where your development can be properly supervised." The words hung in space like a death sentence. Voss thought of Earth's billions, of colonies scattered across dozens of star systems, of children who would grow up as prisoners of alien guidance. Counteroffer, Voss said calmly. You leave human space immediately, and we'll pretend this. Conversation never happened. Kithra's colors shifted to deep crimson. You face the combined might of 12 subject species, technologies refined over millennia, and tactical experience from 1,000 successful campaigns. What possible confidence could drive such arrogance? Before Voss could answer, her communications officer interrupted. Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. Multiple species are breaking communications silence. The main screen split, showing alien faces of dozens of different species, some reptilian, others insectoid, a few that seemed to be pure energy. All bore the same expression, despite their vastly different physiologies. Hope. This is Commander Zephyr of the Altarian Republic, spoke a being that looked like crystallized starlight. We have monitored human communications for 3 centuries. We have lived under Vexthari guidance. We offer our support to humanity's cause. More voices joined in. The Kalari Mining Collective, the Northern Science Directorate, the Phantom Corsairs, dozens of species that had been managed by the Vexthari for generations, all declaring their intention to support humanity's fight for independence. Kithra's image flickered with what might have been shock. This is impossible. The subject species accept our guidance. It maintains galactic order. No, Admiral Voss replied, understanding flooding through her enhanced mind. They endured your guidance because they had no choice, but now they see. That choice is possible. The first shots of the war came from an unexpected source. The Kalari mining ships, armed with improvised weapons, struck at Vexthari supply lines. The Altarian Republic activated ancient defensive networks across the galaxy. Revolution erupted as species that had been dormant for centuries suddenly remembered what freedom felt like. You have doomed them all, Kithara raged. Without guidance, chaos will consume the galaxy. Voss smiled grimly. Chaos? No, this is something else entirely. This is evolution. The battle began with the Vexthari fleet opening fire. Their weapons designed to disable rather than destroy. They still believed they could salvage this situation through superior firepower. But human ships moved in patterns that defied their tactical databases, using the artifact's gifts in ways even the predecessors might never have imagined. The war for galactic freedom had begun, and humanity would either win it all or lose everything. The wild, unleashed battle of soul raged for 18 hours across the entire solar system. Human ships, enhanced by predecessor technology and crewed by minds pushed beyond normal limits, fought with a ferocity that shocked the Vexthari fleet. But numbers and experience began to tell as the alien formation slowly pushed toward Earth itself. Admiral Voss watched her tactical display with grim determination. 12 human vessels had been destroyed, their crews lost to the void. The Defiant Dawn bore scars from 3 direct hits that would have vaporized any pre-artifact ship around them. The space near Neptune flickered with the energy discharges of ongoing battles. Admiral called Captain Park, the Sovereign's wrath is requesting permission to use Protocol 7. Voss closed her eyes briefly. Protocol 7, the desperate measure Dr. Shaw had discovered in the artifact's deepest data files. A way to fully unlock the predecessor legacy, but at a cost that might change humanity forever. Denied. We're not there yet. But even as she spoke, new contacts appeared on the tactical display. Ships emerging from hyperspace, not human, not Vexthari, but something else entirely. Ancient vessels that seemed to be carved from solid starlight, their designs predating any known civilization. Fleet Sovereign Kithra's image appeared on screen, her colors now cycling through patterns that might have been panic. Impossible. The predecessor remnants were destroyed eons ago. The lead ancient ship transmitted on all frequencies, its voice carrying harmonics that resonated in the quantum foam itself. We are the last watchers, final guardians of our Creator's will. The test was not for elevation or elimination. It was to find those who would carry forward the true legacy. Admiral Voss felt understanding dawn in her enhanced mind. The artifact wasn't just a test. It was an invitation. Humanity shows the chaos of growth, the violence of evolution, the unpredictability of true life. The Watcher continued, "You do not seek to control the galaxy, you seek to free it. This is what our creators intended." The ancient ships moved with impossible grace, positioning themselves between the human and Vexthari fleets. Their weapons were not energy beams or kinetic projectiles, but something far more fundamental, reality itself bent to their will. The Vexthari were caretakers, meant to maintain stability until true inheritors emerged, the Watcher explained. They exceeded their mandate, becoming oppressors instead of guardians. Their time ends now. Kithra's fleet began retreating, but not in defeat, in terror. The Watchers weren't just superior technology, they were the architects of galactic civilization itself, and they had passed judgment. "Wait," Admiral Voss transmitted. "Don't destroy them. They were doing what they believed was right." The Watcher paused, its attention focusing on the human admiral. "You would spare those who sought to cage your species. We would offer them a choice," Voss replied. "The same choice we want: freedom to determine their own path." Across the galaxy, the revolution that had begun with humanity's refusal to kneel was spreading like wildfire. Species that had been guided for millennia were remembering how to make their own decisions. Some chose wisdom, others chose folly, but all chose freely. The Vexthari fleet stopped its retreat. Kithra's image reappeared, her colors now showing patterns none of the humans had seen before, perhaps humility, perhaps hope. "You would trust chaos over order?" she asked. "We would trust growth over stagnation." Voss answered, "The galaxy is big enough for all of us to find our own way." The war ended not with conquest, but with transformation. The Vexthari abandoned their role as galactic shepherds, becoming explorers of distant galaxies where new challenges awaited. The subject species formed their own governments, their own alliances, their own destinies. Humanity took their place not as rulers, but as catalysts. The species whose refusal to accept imposed limits had awakened the wild spirit of freedom throughout the stars. Captain Kane, still aboard the transformed Horizon's Edge, transmitted the final message that would be remembered. Throughout galactic history, we came to the stars not to conquer, but to discover, not to rule, but to explore. We are human, and we have taught the galaxy that the only limits are those we accept. The artifact, its purpose finally fulfilled, slowly faded into cosmic background radiation. Its creator's work was complete. They had found worthy inheritors of their greatest gift, the courage to be free. In the end, one desperate plea had awakened the wild spirit of liberty itself, and the galaxy would never forgive those who tried to cage it again.